Hi, I'm IKEA, and I'm here to give you only the tip. Bounty cheesing. And bounty cheesing is a term I affectionately use for trying to get a bounty to go to a certain spot, force it there, basically. And for instance, here in Constitution Hall is a famous place as I popped the bounty there and it went here. It quite often does. Sometimes it's a little bit stubborn and doesn't, but usually it puts it here. And I'm right outside of the zone. The thing especially to know for bounty cheesing is that you need to be outside of the zone. So for instance here, even in 5 directives, with the minimap disabled, on the minimap in front of me, the gray area in front there on the minimap is actually the bounty area. So as long as we're outside of the bounty area, we can make it happen that a bounty goes into that place. There are, of course, many zones where the game will pretty much disperse wherever the bounty will go. As, for instance, in Downtown West, it has a bunch of areas, so it will move it around quite a bit. Here, not so much so. So, for instance, here, I'm going to go do this bounty, and I'm going to come back out of the zone, and we're going to pop the next one. And having completed that bounty, we're going to go run back out, and we're going to go sit around this corner, being outside of the gray area as shown before. And if I, again, pop another bounty here, hopefully it will put it in the exact same spot. That is bounty cheesing. We're trying to force the game to continuously put us into the same spot over and over again. And of course, then run back in and do it again. Here as well, for instance, I could actually fast travel out as I ran back instead. I could have fast traveled to the safe house. Although, for instance, with Pistolero, while I do have I'm running a Regulus build, so it's perfectly fine for me to do that. But if I had allies alongside of me that were, for instance, running red builds and they had some ammo, they would lose that. So that's sometimes why we run out, sometimes why we fast travel. Here we can fast travel to a very nearby area, but let me show another place, and there it's very beneficial to run back out, as here we are at another location that works in the same way. This one is in Southwest. It's the mansion on the east side of the map here, and any bounty that I pop here, as I have one at the ready, will go likely to this mansion. And again, I'm just outside of the zone by being where I am. As they even spawn in. I've set my drone up already even. And here we see again where the orange and the gray lines are. We basically need to be outside of those zones to let the game put the bounties here. And in many locations, it likes putting the bounties at certain locations. And I've actually prepared a map, as I will pull that up right now. And here is that map, and it is of course linked down below. On it, you can find the locations where you can do this cheese. For instance, here, this mansion, and of course, the Constitution Hall area that I showed earlier, but also in Judiciary with the police station. You can do it as well in Federal Triangle with the National Archives. This streets area in the north of the White House zone, and as well in West End, you have the relief camp where quite often it will put it, and you can also fast travel to the mission here. In New York, you also have a few. You have this one in Two Bridges, where it will put it in the JTF shelter. And of course, as well in the financial district. This is the much more popular one in New York, where you can do it on the pier. And especially on the pier one, it is very consistent. It very much loves putting the bounty there. So let's move on actually to a special way as well, where you can force it to go into one certain area by doing some setup. And here we are with the character set up in a certain way, and that is that they have not done any of their side missions, but especially they haven't done any of their side missions around them here, meaning that in West End, none of the side missions are done. We are also still, again, using that same mechanic of just being outside of a bounty area, just outside of it. And when I pop a bounty, although here I'm doing it in West End, and we are in Downtown West, by popping this bounty in a West End, it will guarantee, by the side missions all still being available here and not having been done, that it will always go here. And that's one of the cheeses, and really why I kind of wanted to make this video, as we quite often do this on stream. And I wanted to show the setup for it, as people did not know, but also that you can do it in other places as well, for instance, in Constitution Hall as shown. And yeah, let me actually show you how that kind of goes when we are doing it on stream with 4 players. As for instance, here, we're using that same tactic. I'm on the way of running back to the initial position, which we call it quite often, and we are popping a bounty. One of my allies is in West End, and the reason especially why that area is so accommodating for quick bounties is that it has really only 2 spawns, and it's well worth setting up a character in that way. Although, of course, it does take quite a bit of time. As here, we're going to go through. Golden Bullet is active, so we're doing it a little bit faster than usual, although with most of the global events, or just even in general, we'll go at almost the same speed, basically. And they mostly spawn from one of 2 doors, and once they start spawning from that door, they have a tendency to keep spawning from it. So here, for instance, we just are door camping them all to death. And, well, we have Golden Bullets active. It's not actually making it that much faster. So here, we are basically already done with the bounty, and there we are. We would go grab the loot and run back, and that would be 1 cycle, and we would keep repeating it. And that is bounty cheesing, a tactic that I feel works really well for leveling. It isn't faster than doing activities, but it is equivalent almost, and you gain other things as well. And especially in areas, it is secluded, so you don't run into other things while doing the bounty. Now, of course, I should say as well, you should do this mostly on heroic with as many directives as you can, preferably 5, as that's what I usually run this with. And also, of course, you need to go farm the bounties in those zones, and you just do that by going and getting public executions and hostage rescues, as they will provide you with the bounties to do this. Usually, we will go and farm some bounties first, till we have a bunch, and then go and do them all together, so you can continuously run in and run out. So yeah, that was bounty cheesing, and I gave you only the tip.